Hello everyone, Mr. Zas here. Over the moon, but still in London. Because Chisora versus Parker. Looks like Chisora is a A-side. Interesting. And I'm over the moon because I really was hoping for the first fight. But then someone decided to go and become a superhero. A Spider-Man. Spider-Man Parker. Whatever. On that note, the fight is happening. May the 1st. Excellent. If it's taking place in London, I'm going there, I'm getting a ticket. And I'm gonna guys explain you why I think Chisora has better chance to win. Yes, the record doesn't show it because they're 10 defeats, fair point. But I think Parker's record is just blown out of proportion. I think it's been kind of padded. I think Parker is a paper champ. He was a paper champ. And I'm gonna explain why, and that's just down the line now. So hold down, and I'm gonna explain why I think DERECK CHISORA gonna have his biggest career win against Joseph Parker. So sit down and enjoy. So here we go, boys. If you look at the resume, we can see the first big win, and I'm gonna go for the big wins against Carl Takam. That is a good win, don't get me wrong. The guy's about ranked 25-35 in the world. Not a journeyman, a gatekeeper. A good guy who can challenge, and he has challenged against Joshua, he was replacement. A solid guy, solid win. The next fight, Joseph Parker had against Andy Ruiz Jr. A very close fight. You could say controversial fight. Some of the people would say that, and I would completely agree. Because I thought Parker was given the decision. But after that he had the next fight with his sparring partner, which he won, and then he had fight against Hughie Fury. Hughie Fury was undefeated at that time. Should have been a good fight for Parker, but it was a snooze fest, as Parker was really unable to do anything in the fight. Fury was a bit taller, but Parker was just unable to perform and, to land the killer shot or anything. You may say, well, just the fight, it will gonna change. But then he fought Antua Joshua, who is a powerhouse, and he lost the belt. I mean, yeah, fair point. You fight the best, you lose to the best. Happens. Then he was fighting Dillian Whyte. I remember this fight very well because I was going for Joseph Parker. I thought Joseph Parker will gonna smash Dillian Whyte, and oh boy, I was wrong. And kind of from that point on, in that fight, Parker started very, very slowly, yeah? And it kind of went there that Parker doesn't really push himself to the 100% in the fights. And after that, he had 4 more fights against various opponents, who none of them was something out of ordinary. Pretty much you could say the best fight he had against who? Junior Farr? I wouldn't really say that. That was his last fight. Junior Farr was like kind of prospect. Yes, 19-0 record, but no real opponents. And then another good fight was against Shadwell Winters, who was cruiserweight. And height 6'2", not a big cruiserweight. Good cruiserweight, but not a big heavyweight. Went, I think, 4 or 5 rounds. Did actually quite good. So in these fights where you assume Joseph Parker can dominate quite easily, he performs meh. Just alright. That's about it. Not a good performance. But now let's look at Chisora. Let's look what did Chisora fight, and how he won, and where did he get robbed, and where he got some decisions given. So yeah, and diving in Chisora's resume, it's massive. But okay, let's go what we have here. The first big one, I'm gonna go with Robert Helenius. I think he won that fight. It was very controversial. I think Chisora actually won that one, and if you look up Helenius now, he's in a good rankings after his last win against the Polish fight, I forgot. But yeah, Vitaly Klitschko was fighting for WBC. He gave a solid performance there. Lost the fight, but left a really good impression. So what else we have quite big on it? The Fury fights, Pulev fight went all whatever rounds there. Wasn't really phased by Pulev's punching power, nothing like that. Then we know White fights, very close. I think the first fight maybe could even go his way. Ajit Kabayel fight against Chisora, very boring fight. Kabayel just was running all the time, just running and jabbing, and it was very close. It was like, I think 114 fight. Personally, I think Chisora won this fight. I think it was like 1 point difference, but I think Chisora won that fight because Kabayel was just going around and jabbing, and I was kind of going, with the Chisora, because at the end of the day he landed quite a few, heavy shots, and Kabayel just didn't really want to do anything there. Going up, Carl Tackham, he won that fight by KO. Then he had another fight with Dylan White. He lost that one. Then he fought Spilka, David Price. So Spilka, David Price, those are, again, better opponents that Joseph Parker has faced in his last 4 years. Okay, my two takes on this one are simple. Chisora's resume is bad, but actually it's much better than it is because he has some robberies. And Parker's resume looks good, but it's much worse. I would say Joseph Parker was a paper champion next to Ben Munster-Burns and Charles Martins. These two guys didn't face no one, and pretty much Joseph Parker, he faced no one too. He had 2 fights against irrelevant boxers at the time, and that's it. Chisora is Chisora, and he's just gonna go and bash Parker up. I think this fight will gonna turn out very just like White versus Parker. Chisora gonna bully Parker, and it will gonna be the fight in middle of the ring, because Parker will gonna put up the fight, and he gonna go and he gonna try to trade with Chisora. And the second fight, White versus Chisora, White decided it's not the right strategy to fight against someone like Chisora. It's better to outbox him, and it worked for him. But I just don't really see Parker outboxing Chisora. That's it. Even if it goes to the points, I still would go with Chisora on this one. So that's my two takes on it. And anyway guys, leave a like, leave a comment.